Welcome to TeenBRAVE. Each episode we'll be talking to experts and individuals on issues that teens face. We'll also be talking to you on the street to get your input as well. In this episode we'll be talking about bullying online. So let's kick it off.
We speak to tens of thousands of young people every single year, and this show is about their stories.
Hi, I'm David from TeenBRAVE. Today we're here in beautiful Sydney on the street speaking to some young people. Have you ever been bullied? What do you think about online bullying?
I haven't been bullied before, but I know it's an issue, a big issue everywhere, and especially online because it's easier to bully.
I don't think it had a huge impact on my life, and I cannot say that I was depressed because of that, or that I had any big issues with that, but sure it must have happened sometimes.
Yeah, I've been bullied in primary school, and I think sometimes people don't realise that they're bullying people. I think that they're sort of teasing them to a point where they think it's a joke, but the other person really does get offended by it, but they just try and shake it off.
For girls, it's really not so much the physical, but like the emotional, or like even if it's not online, just like the excluding or stuff like that.
That sort of stuff, and I think it's much different for girls than it is boys, because the boys are more physical and the girls are more verbal. Yeah. And I think that, the boys just get it out with a few punches, but girls, it takes a lot more to get over.
I have been bullied. Girls don't think girls and guys can be friends, so they attack you online.
I think people just need to remember they need to, how they act online is how they should act around people face to face.
So the last number of years we've had over 2,500 people committing suicide in Australia every single year.
Yep. And
in 80% of those cases, bullying has seemed to be the number one contributing factor.
It's really sad. I mean, yeah, like you said, 80% of all cases of suicide in Australia, bullying is the number one reason. I think it's just when people are bullied to such a point, they just get a sense of hopelessness. And when you think there's no hope, there's no real reason for going on, I think.
So how do we give people hope in those situations where suicide seems like their only option?
Helping people understand that they matter, that they have intrinsic self-worth and value. They are a person that has something to offer. Their opinion matters, their voice counts. Yep. We just need to continue to get out there. As I keep banging on, bullying is long-term and ongoing. Our fight has to be long-term and ongoing. Our conversation has to be long-term and ongoing. And when I say the fight, it's not just talking about all bullying's out there, it's reaching out to those people. And it's not just teenagers, it's also people in the corporate sector. So what we need to do as a society is be aware, be alert. We're sometimes so wrapped up in our own little world and our own little problems that we don't notice that person at school who sits alone and has lunch by themselves, and we know they get picked on. Or we don't see that person in our office space who just doesn't engage, comes in, does their work, always looks to the ground. Body language speaks volumes. So I suppose it's as a community being aware.
Being aware and being that person that will go and sit with that person, or have that conversation, or ask how that person's doing.
A smile, in the elevator or passing in the hall, a nod of the head, g'day. Something like that can just make someone's day. Oh, I've been noticed.
I've experienced it a few times. I sort of just I grew up sort of as the weird kid, and but you just sort of I dealt with it just by getting my own sort of group of friends that were all close, and we just sort of stuck back and just sort of observed everyone else really.
A lot of it happens on social media, and I think that people don't really realise that they're doing it, and some don't realise that they're being bullied, but they just feel put down a lot.
Social media has been heavily influencing individuals, especially teenagers these days. They keep on using it constantly with no sense of discipline at all, so I think that's a major issue in our lives.
I just always had different views on things. I always voiced my opinion, and I don't know. My dad, he was a bit of a weird guy as well, and I grew up around it, so I wasn't afraid to be myself. Yeah.
So Brett, what made you want to work with young people in the area of bullying?
Oh, the main reason was because I was bullied at school myself. Being a young kid, I went to an all-boys school and was a late developer and really small. I wasn't the biggest guy in class. I suppose just knowing what it's like to be picked on, I hated it. And it wasn't just every now and then. Like my final year at school was every single day I got bashed. I got picked on, I got excluded. And yeah, so I just had that empathy. I just knew what it was like and I hated it. Yeah. And so I decided that when I left school that I wanted to treat people the opposite to the way I'd been treated. And that led me to become an anti-bullying campaigner.
If you were going to kind of communicate one thing around bullying that would be helpful for maybe some of the different people or everyone in general, what would that piece of helpful advice be?
For the victims, so the people who are being bullied and also the bullies together, I would say to them that they are a person of worth and value. So if you're being bullied, know that inside you are an amazing individual with incredible worth and value, and don't ever let anyone steal that. To the bully, I would say the same thing. You're an amazing person full of incredible worth and value, and you don't need to act the way you do to feel accepted or liked or belong.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, share and subscribe. Also, check out these other videos on issues we've covered.